I'm talking about the movie Sinners. This was directed by Ryan Coogler, who apparently directed Black Panther 1 and 2. But I think he also did the remake for Space Jam, which is, Jesus, not his proudest moment, you know, but that's fine, because he also did some of the Creed movies as well. I think he did all of them, if I'm correct. But with an amazing cast like Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Omar Benson, and Wunmi Mosaku. The basic premise of the story is these two brothers, and yes, Michael B. Jordan actually plays twin brothers in this movie, so they're doing the weird thing where he's acting the two characters. Back to the South from Chicago after Chicago doesn't pan out for them. Spoiler alert, they just robbed a bank and they're trying to escape. And when they end up back in the South, they buy some land and a building and they want to make it into a club. However, during the festivities, evil is afoot. And we run into the famous vampires and they have to basically defend themselves from evil. I am going to start with the cast. Michael B. Jordan did okay in some instances. So this is the thing about this movie. There are scenes where they did fantastic, and then there are scenes where I was just like, huh? But yeah, with scenes like with Michael B. Jordan, scenes that are just him acting, he's actually really good. Those scenes are great. I run into issues when it's both of them in the same scene. There's just some weird comping, and I'm not gonna lie, there are some parts that doesn't look great. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Very weird driving scenes, like prolonged driving while talking and playing musical instruments. And yeah, it just definitely, it looks like the car is standing still and the background is just moving behind them. It has that effect and it doesn't look great. I'm not gonna lie about that. Michael B. Jordan looks fantastic in his costume. Absolutely. Everyone else looks great. It definitely does look like the 1930s to 1940 vibes. In the story, you also end up following the story of Sammy, played by Miles Caton. He is also the son of a preacher and loves to play music and wants to venture out on his own, and you know, the twins are his inspiration, even though the twins are gangsters and like really, really bad people, to be frank. Look at every single character as a sinner. Like everyone is doing something awful behind the scenes. Almost everyone in this scene. Not everyone, but almost everyone, including the preacher boy with the whole thing with the married woman, which apparently we're now cool with. You know, that was very weird to me, guys. The first act was honestly horrendous. It was horrendous because it was trying so hard for 45 minutes to introduce me to these characters, and I ended up still knowing nothing about these characters. I just had no connection with any of these characters. There's a lot of preaching going on in this movie, and not in an interesting way. Guys, if you're gonna preach, at least make it in a way that is interesting. This wasn't interesting. It was just like, I was just bored for the first 45 minutes waiting for something to happen. Of course, things happen just because they happen. Just people are where they are needed to be, when they are needed, when the script needs it. Things just happen to, you know, there's a lot of quinkydinks in this movie. The vampires are attracted to music that's being played not by a specific instrument, by a specific person. That breaks the barrier between death, hell, and heaven, or whatever you want to call it. And the vampire leader needs that person to do their thing so that he can go chill with his friends on the other side. That scene, so there's the scene where in the story the kid plays music and the barrier breaks, yada yada, and all the dancers from the past, the present, and the future, and they literally have people from the future show up in this film, like DJs, and like, oh my god, like it tried so hard to be so serious, but man, I was holding my laughter so hard because it was so freaking funny. It felt so out of place. I didn't vibe with it at all. It just felt so out of place. Like, what is this? Where am I? There are certain scenes and dialogues that feel incredibly repetitive. Like, Miss Ma'am, I heard you the first time you told me about how the whole vampire thing works. I got it. That some of the dialogue between the characters never felt fluid. It felt very forced. it just felt like they are reading a script at some points. It never really felt like any feeling or anything. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. I will say, for the good thing, the vampire effects look great. No complaints there. They look intimidating, they look bloody, they look interesting. I loved it. The whole vampire, everything looked great. That is not a complaint of mine. My complaint is the music. I was expecting this movie to go really all out with the jazz. Like, of course, we're in the South, might as well. It did, but it was so underwhelming and not interesting that I was kind of like, it was very lackluster, honestly. Like bringing the saxophones, bringing the trumpets, you know? You got like this like new kind of like hip, like futuristic, jazzy kind of music, which could have worked. Didn't really. There are moments where it felt like very inappropriate. Another thing is the scares, the boos, they are incredibly loud in this movie. So yeah, you'll get startled, but it's not a horror movie, Warner Brothers. Act 2 was definitely way better because the vampires actually showed up. However, they didn't really do much because they couldn't go into the building because they needed permission to go into the building. So they just waited outside for people to leave the building and they can just do. And of course, we don't see any of that, which is very disappointing in a vampire movie. Let us see the kills and make them fun, you know? Like, it's a vampire movie, for crying out loud. Nah, they were just turned behind the scenes. We didn't get to see any of them, and then they start singing Kumbaya in a giant circle, which honestly, it was pretty good. The Irish dancing in the circle, that was pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. One complaint I will say, Smokes, I think it was Smokes' wife, knew way too much about the vampires way too fast. I understand that she's like a priestess, but she just knew exactly what to do, how to do it, and what these things were like that. Not like, what a coincidence, don't you think? The kills felt disappointing, and a lot of times because of the fact that I didn't connect with a lot of the characters, when a lot of them died, I didn't really feel much. Other than Mary's character, she was actually the one I related to a little bit, and even then, she wasn't like the greatest character in the movie. The only time this movie got really, really interesting was when the vampire was talking to Smoke's character and saying, this world left you behind. If you just join us, you'll be in our community, our heaven, our utopia. And I felt like that was such an interesting thing to offer Smoke. The opportunity, like, hey, the entire world hates you, which back then in the South and in the Jim Crow era where this movie takes place, makes perfect sense. Offering this man eternal power, eternal life, eternal community. Because when you turn into a vampire, the entire hive mind knows everything about you instantly, which is kind of wild. But it makes sense. But of course, the caveat is that the leader of the vampires is the one that has ultimate control of everyone. So you don't have autonomy. To be frank, the thing was also very lackluster. So because of that, I will be giving this movie a 5 out of 10. It is closer to a 6 than a 4. I might like it on a second viewing, who knows. But overall for now, it's a 5 out of 10 for me. I definitely do recommend people watching this in the theaters. It is one of those movies that is worth watching in theaters. I watched it at IMAX and it looked great. Guys, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Leave them down in the comment section below. I have a couple of reviews coming up soon, but I'll see you all for the next one. Bye.